So we got a Christian here in dire need of help. He's on Reddit and is talking about something that he noticed and doesn't appreciate. Claims that it is weird to see an anti-Christian stance that some people on the Gamergate side have, and it needs to change. I assume he is referring to the whole Visa MasterCard debacle when he talks about Gamergate. I don't know whoever told you guys that Christians are also the enemy. You may not know this, but a lot of game developers were Christian, like the creator of Five Nights at Freddy. Also, most people who are against video games were Protestant. I have never seen a Catholic go after video games. This is actually true, right? It's kind of racist to say that all Christians are the same. Sorry to say, but like some Christians are a mental asylum and others are quite decent people. It's true. Like when you go after video games, the most petty thing imaginable. Like, let me put it this way, right? Why do people go on the internet? Do they go on the internet in order to learn about the Lord? Do they go on the internet in order to be educated by someone younger than them? No, they go on the internet to go around their business, usually for entertainment, right? And when you have a twat from the opposite side of the world starting to lecture you about trivial shit and like being aggressive and stuff, and he has a cross on his bio, how do you think people react to that? The answer is negatively, right? And so what ends up happening is a similar situation, like when you're driving a car on a street and all of a sudden a taxi driver does like a weird maneuver and you almost crash. Okay? And you notice it's a taxi driver, like you should know better, right? I mean, he drives for a living. And then you keep driving and another taxi driver does something. And after a while you start associating that all taxi drivers are mental asylums, right? And when you see a taxi driver, you're like, it's kind of like a danger. Why do you do that? Does it mean all taxi drivers are this way? No. But because they all look alike, they have yellow cars, right? Our mind start using pattern recognition. And even though we're not running a poll with all the taxi drivers, we only saw two, but like two are enough in order to influence us, right? Because our brain doesn't operate based on social studies. Our brain operates on what they experience. And if you have negative experience with two, it's enough to avoid the others. Okay, same shit on Twitter. You see a guy with a cross in the bio harassing an artist. You see a guy with a cross in a bio tearing into some random schmuck. It creates a negative energy, right? Like you're not there in order to see that negative behavior. Like you're there to talk about video games. And when you see that shit, it's like, okay, this guy with the cross in the bio, it's like, what the fuck, I'll avoid him, right? And then you see another and another. And then you're like sharing a picture of Stellar Blade and you feel like three people, ban pornography, ban porn, ban porn. It's like, what the fuck? Where did they come from? Like, I'm not going over there to their Bible studies to stuff 2B's ass into their face. Why are they here? Why are they complaining? And then you see them. Like, if you're not on Twitter and you don't know, I'm telling you it's happening, right? Like, this has been... For the last year, I don't even know where they popped up. But, like, anyway, right? Like, they're... All of a sudden, they see an LGBT person. A pedophile. Okay. You know, they see a person watching anime. Pedophile. Okay, so a pedophile is either a member of the LGBT community or a person that watches anime. You're kind of watering down the definition, I'm just saying. Problematic because, like, we saw what happened with definitions like misogyny, racism, they were going after this word. Not a good idea, in my opinion, but, like, whatever. You know, if you want to use that word, use that word. The reality is that if a movement allows extremists to speak on its behalf, then it gets to be defined by the extremists. And so, my message to this Christian... right? It's not to, like, tell people how to think, because you're not going to achieve anything, right? Like, people think based on their lived experiences. It's true, like, most people don't think based on polls and statistics. Most people are like, okay, I encountered this in my life, and if they saw it with their own eyes and lived it, they're more likely to believe it than any type of study you show them. And so my advice is for you to go to your fellow Christians and to tell them to put a cross in their bio. And when they go online, tell them to behave as decent as humanly possible, even more so than usual. And if you can have, like, people experiencing positive interactions with Christians, you may even get converts. I'm not even kidding about this, right? Like, this is my genuine advice to Christians that are not part of those people, and they're upset that they're noticing an anti-Christian sentiment on the rise. What you need to do is to make like genuine acts of kindness, genuine acts of compassion, right? Like you go online, put a cross in a bio, right? And then actually behave in a manner that when someone sees you with a cross in a bio, will be like, oh, this is a Christian. That's nice. That's the same vibe I get when I see an Eastern European, right? Like if I see a Polish flag, I immediately know, okay, this is a person that I can have something to talk with. If I see someone with a Californian flag, I freak the fuck out. It's not like there aren't good people in California, right? Or if you see someone with a Ukrainian flag. It's not like there aren't good people in Ukraine, because there are, but if someone has a Ukrainian flag, it's probably an American from California, right? So like this is the optics game. Like if you're generally interested in how other people perceive you as a movement, well, if people that do bad things reflect negatively on your movement, then you need to have an equal number of people that do good things in order for your movement to be perceived better. I noticed that a lot of people are trying to distance the movement from the people, as if like if the movement promotes something wholesome but the people are assholes, like you're not supposed to judge the movement based on the people. I'm sorry, but it's not human nature. It's not how people work, right? People would more likely be attracted to a movement that's bad and does bad things, but like the people in the movement are wholesome and nice, than the other way around. Like that's just basic humanity. I'm not advocating for it. I'm describing it how it is. So, I get where he's coming from, right? Because back in the day, I remember, growing up, there were a lot of family members that were Christians and they were absolutely livid over stuff like heavy metal music, board games, anime, violent video games, like almost everything that was fun, right? And that caused the rise of the atheist movement. All of a sudden, a lot of people, they turned 18, they left their home, and they were like, completely cutting the contact with that person. And they also grew like a huge animosity towards Christianity as itself, because like they were wondering, why was I arguing with my mom and dad every single night? Like who was causing this level of animosity? Well, the televangelist from the television, right? Or the pastor. And so like they were the ones to blame. Like they're the primordial ones to blame for the discord in their family. And so, they would start attacking other Christians. And other Christians were like, why are you attacking me? Like, they generally didn't get it. And they didn't understand. Because, like, they never were antagonistic people. Like, they were decent, nice people. But they were getting the flack from that shit. And so, yeah, like, there was a rise in the last 2 years of a version of Christianity, you can call it, on the internet, with certain, like, Protestant roots, in the sense that they only believed in the sola scriptura. And we're not talking like Christians that, again, study theology, or they like the mysticism or the rituals, or they're talking about the life of Christ. No, like they would hang around on Discord, share edgy memes, and go after various artists, go after various people, and attacking them for their hobbies and entertainment. And that's not a good look. It's not a good look. It's like someone that comes home from 12 hours of work and just wants to play a video game, wants to play some Nikkei, and to have like some twats coming in and call him a pedophile, right? Well, when they're having crosses in the bio, not a good fucking look. Oh, it's not all Christians. I know. He doesn't, right? He doesn't even care. Like his brain doesn't even care to process it. Like his brain isn't like trying to understand the argument or the philosophical issues of it. No, like his brain is like, how do I make these people go away? And how do I avoid interacting with them in the future? And if they're antagonistic to me, how can I be antagonistic to them? And that's pretty much how people think, right? And probably how you would think if like some other ideology did that to you. And so that's where the animosity comes from. And again, like my advice is, if you're a Christian, like identify yourself as a Christian and actually behave in a Christian way. Not in what I like to call digital Christianity, the Christianity of the Discord. No, like behave in a way that if you're a Catholic, behave the way that the Catholic is expected to behave, right? The way that your priest tells you to behave, that's how you need to be on the internet. And stop being confrontational as well. Like, understand that, if you're in a community, you're fostering a community, you're on an international platform. Like, not everyone is going to have your set of moral values or your education. Like, some people will consider that your values are not even human. For instance, when I see someone with a Californian flag, like, what do you think I think? Probably he thinks the same thing about me, right? So I'm just saying, like trying to impose your values over the internet, especially when there's foreigners there and people from other cultures and stuff, even though like the cultures are similar. Okay, well, he's European and you're from Illinois. All right, cultures are similar. There are a lot of values that don't align, and trying to impose the same stuff, sure, it can work, but usually people kind of hate the enforcers. No one likes the traffic police officer who tries to enforce. Like, sure, you can argue that what he is doing is a necessary and important performance for humanity to be there and direct traffic. But like, everyone driving a car absolutely despises his guts, right? So anyway, hopefully I managed to explain to this gentleman what the problem is and how they could fix it. I think personally it is going to exacerbate. Like, I think it's going to be really worse because the more censorship that happens, especially towards stuff that people like and care about, the more the blame is going to be on who justified the censorship and who demanded it. And it doesn't matter what is, it matters how people think and how people perceive. The optics are very important. But the optics can still change, it remains to be seen. Again, like some of the atheists that I know, and they had like a deep-seating hatred towards Christianity, ended up allying with Christians against the woke. Because they viewed the woke as a bigger problem, and the main stuff is not the censorship itself that upsets people. Because like at the end of the day, you can still get your product if you want. It's the audacity, right? Like some twat, probably younger than you, as I mentioned, from another part of the world, is telling you what you are and aren't allowed to enjoy in your hobbies. It's mental. Most people are going to throw the table just out of principle. It's like, who the fuck are you, right? Like, automatically it's enraging. And so it's like, okay, well, if the woke enraged them harder, they allied with Christians. Like, they're fine. And the same can happen in reverse. If the Christians were to have individuals or members that would anger them far more than the woke, especially where they have to dox themselves everywhere they go. But anyway, right, that's my opinion on the issue. Long story short, I do agree not all Christians are the same. I don't think digital Christians actually count as Christians, but unfortunately, if they go around and impose their will on others and are behaving like assholes, it reflects on the whole community. And what Christians can do in order to fight that is to actually engage in good PR, good optics, like start doing Christian things. Christianity is the religion of positivity, isn't it? So that's my take. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.